Hi, I'm Matt Collins. I'd like to welcome you to Bob Weber Auto Mart on Douglas Avenue here in Racine, across from Douglas Park. We specialize in 1-year-old, low mileage, almost new cars. And if you'd like to stop by and see them, or see them on our website, bobweberautomart.com, we could save you between $5,000 and $10,000 on your next almost new car purchase.
I'm Michael Burke, and this is Money Talks. Hi, welcome to Money Talks, the Journal Times online business show. I'm business reporter Michael Burke, and we have the perfect show for this time of year today because my guest is Lee Jaramillo, former baseball player, and lo and behold, in about 5 days the season starts for the Brewers and for most of Major League Baseball, so this is ideal timing. And the timing is also good because you guys just came out with the product we're going to be talking about, which is the ForceOut glove. But before we get to the actual product, Lee, you come from just a baseball family, so briefly run it down. Who played when and who's playing right now?
Well, yeah, we come from a baseball family. My father started out playing in Mexico, semi-pro. He moved here when he was, I think, 14 years old or so, and had us, 4 boys. So when he got here, he kept playing in the Mexican League. There's a Mexican League in Milwaukee. So
I didn't know that.
As little kids, you know, you're following your dad to the baseball diamond, wanting to get in there, and he was a catcher and a shortstop, and you know, we started following him to the field, and you know, when you're there, you're absorbed in that lifestyle,
yeah.
And so we started throwing the ball a little bit here and there, and you know, we all became baseball players, I guess, in some form or fashion. But yeah, we grew up playing baseball and soccer, but baseball really was the sport that really took off for us, and we actually really loved it, and kept playing at different levels, kept getting good and better at it. So we decided that, well, we didn't decide. You know, a lot of the scouts in colleges started calling us, and we didn't know anything about that lifestyle.
When were you first scouted? What were you doing at the time, and where did that take you?
Well, I got scouted out of high school, at Case High School in Racine, from the Chicago Cubs and the Milwaukee Brewers. But at that time, I matured late, and so physically I wasn't ready for professional baseball. Even though I got scouted, I got invited to Wrigley, and I got tryouts at Wrigley, which was a dream come true for me.
Oh, yeah.
But it didn't pan out. Went to college and kept getting scouted over the years, and eventually got drafted out of UWM, University of Wisconsin Milwaukee, by the Milwaukee Brewers, which was another dream come true.
Yeah.
My brother Frankie, who's a year older than me, was actually drafted by Texas Rangers in 1996 out of Southern Illinois University. So that kind of started the trend.
So you guys both played a little in the minors too then, right?
We played in the minors. Yeah, I played with the Brewers and the Mets. Frankie played with the Texas Rangers and the Brewers. And then, you know, just like us following our father, Jason was following us, you know, our third brother. Third of 4 brothers. So he started coming to our minor league games, and you know, he was always passionate about baseball ever since he was a young guy. And so, just like we followed our father, he started following us, you know, into the field, and you know, and you typically what you want is the next sibling or son or brother to kind of get better and better and better. And so he was.
And he's at the highest level so far, right? Because he's actually at the major league.
He's been in the major leagues for 3 years with the Pittsburgh Pirates. Now he's with Houston Astros, doing really well. He's played with the Brewers, the Phillies. Got drafted by the Philadelphia Phillies out of high school, Case High School, and then got drafted again by the Phillies out of college, Oklahoma State University. So he got drafted twice by the same team. Ended up signing with the Phillies in 2004. And since
they must have really liked him if they drafted him again.
They drafted him in the 2nd round, which is a pretty high draft pick. So he played with the Phillies. Played with probably six teams in the 9-10 years he's been in professional baseball, and now he's with Houston.
And you and he were both in his case, he still is a catcher, but you guys were both catchers, which is completely relevant to what we're going to be talking about here.
Right, we were both catchers. Like I said, my father was a catcher, so we'd see him throw on the tools of ignorance, and we decided to be
Terrible term.
to be dumb.
I can't believe you're using that.
We weren't very smart, but we loved it. We really loved it, and so I started catching, and Jason saw me catching, and it kind of all melts together.
Has to be one of the hardest jobs on the field. So, talk about the moment or the conversation that led to the product ForceOut that we're going to be talking about.
It was interesting because Jason, when he was playing with the Pirates, they had a home series against the Brewers at Miller Park, and so he stays here over, and obviously he has a home.
You guys live in Caledonia?
Yes,
Yeah.
in Caledonia, and so I picked him up from his house to drive him to Miller Park for one game, and we started talking about his hand, getting pounded, and I can attest to that,
Yeah.
to that affliction, and so we started.
Let's stay with that for a minute. That
Okay.
pounding. What does it feel like to take? Well, you brought a catcher's glove. Why don't you hold it up? Where do you ideally want to catch the ball, and where does it hurt when you catch the ball?
Well, you can see kind of the blackened area here.
Uh-huh.
Ideally, you want to catch it. I guess if you can see my hand in here, you want to catch it right in this area here, right here.
Okay.
And right along this path here, and it gets a little darker here. I'm not sure if the camera can pick that up.
Uh-huh.
It sort of goes in sort of an L shape. So this is the part that really gets pounded here.
Okay.
And so we started talking about that, and really it started out with just us creating a product for Jason, just something for him to. So we started to think about it. So me being the creative research guy, I started to look into just about everything about these gloves. And I knew that there were products out there, but those products just didn't work for a lot of different reasons.
I want to just stay with the pounding aspect for a little longer. What were you guys looking for a product to just reduce the sting? I mean, what does it feel like when you take a really hard fastball in the wrong spot, and what is the cumulative effect?
Well, the feeling you get is, it's just like getting slapped, really.
Mhm.
And over time, it causes, it's an actual real affliction. And over time, it damages nerves in
Yeah.
your fingers and at the base of your finger. And over time, those are irreparable. You can't fix that.
Mhm.
Once it's damaged over time, you can't fix those. So we're not, what we were talking about was not eliminating that, but just helping prevent that from prolonging the player's
Uh-huh.
career or what have you.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it really it stings. It stings.
I bet.
mean, it really does sting, especially when you're at the level that he's at. When you got guys throwing 94, 95 miles an hour, 95 plus miles an hour.
Yeah.
It really hurts.
Yeah.
It takes a toll. And so if Jason started talking about it, and they go to the trainer's room and they'll mock up some gel padding and throw it in the glove, but it moves around in there. It's not really sustainable for him playing every day. And so
Okay.
we started to think about what we could do to alleviate that problem.
Uh-huh. So your basic concept was a glove under a glove?
It's an inner glove. It's not unlike what products that are out there right now. The only difference is that our product is I don't know if you want me to show it now, but we've essentially cut off the fingers here, and a lot of times, especially for
Talk about the development of the idea, how you went, so you, talk about when you were developing this too, because you're a real estate guy now, that's your main.
Commercial real estate, yeah.
Your main profession. So when were you working on it, and what concepts were you integrating into this along the way?
I'm a serial entrepreneur. You can ask my wife that, but I'd work on this in the evenings. Jason and I would talk after his games, and I'd say, how about we do this? I'd send him mock-ups on the computer. I'd do some Photoshop mock-ups and say, how about this or this? And he would say, move it here, move it there. And then once we had an idea or a concept of what we wanted to sort of look like, we had to go get it prototyped.
Did you start with the idea of a full glove over all the fingers and then remove those three, or what?
No, because Jason, the reason why he didn't wear a batting glove, a traditional batting glove with all three fingers covered, is because he didn't want the obstruction. And so we had to think about how we wanted to design it so that there was not these fingers in the way. Because really, at the end of the day, you don't use these fingers except for closing the glove.
Uh-huh.
When you're receiving a glove, you're pretty much open. You're just getting pounded here. And so we had talked early on in our first drive is that we didn't want a full glove that covered the hand.
Mhm.
So we had to,
Because he wants to be able to feel the glove and the ball?
right. I think one of the most important parts of this glove is the fact that the players get to feel the leather on their skin, as if you had nothing on at all.
Mhm.
And so we had to put all these different things that Jason wanted into a glove. And so it took us a while.
So were you designing a conceptual glove the whole while on a computer, or at what stage did you, or early on, did you just start taking gloves and trying gloves on your hand, or what?
At first, we drew it on a napkin. Then we took it to sort of
The proverbial napkin?
Yeah,
drawing?
the drawing on a napkin, and I'd scan it, I'd send it to him, say, how about this, how about that? He's like, yeah, we're getting close. And once we started getting close, I started to mock it up on the computer, kind of, not very good at it, but we mocked it up enough so that we could take it to a seamstress or someone that could help us out. But that was difficult in itself, finding someone that would sew a prototype that intricate on a glove, because people typically don't get. I mean, that type of sewing work is very difficult, very difficult.
And who did you find?
We actually found someone locally here, to give us
You can name
the seamstress
it. Right on Main Street.
right on Main Street here.
Kitty?
Kitty.
Yeah.
She was great. She was great.
Wells, is that her last name, or am I not remembering that right?
Right, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I think everyone who lives in Racine knows the shop here.
Yeah.
And, I think had the Jedi models there. But she was great. Where do you take this concept? You can't take it directly to China or Pakistan or say, hey, can you try this out? We need it to first. And we spent some money on doing this because it's an intricate, detailed piece of material here. And so she did it for us. She did a great job. We took that, and actually Jason wore that during the season, and then we worked out a
Last season?
No, this was 2010, maybe.
Okay.
So it took us that long for us to get a prototype made. He took it, he wore it. We had to make some adjustments, and we were still making adjustments even while the prototype was done.
So this uses the same, I'm guessing, the same kind of gel padding that a bicycling glove would have on it, right?
Yeah, it's not unlike bicycling gloves at all.
Except that, of course, you've added this on the index finger, and you have a big wide pad where this part of the hand is.
Right. And the reason why we designed it like this is because a lot of gloves have a huge pad right here, just a one continuous pad here and here. So it gets to be really bulky, and you can't really move the top finger.
Oh, yeah.
And so we laid it out so that there's spaces between every pad.
Right at the joints.
So really, it's like you're not wearing anything at all.
Yeah.
I mean, and the way it's form fitted, it feels really good to the player. And so far, it's been received really well. The ForceOut glove, we have these pull tabs here as well, so it makes it a lot easier. Well, let me go back to this here first. The strap, it's different than other batting gloves where the strap's on this side. We put it on this side because when fielders are fielding the ball, they're like this a lot of the time, and so our catchers, while they're giving sort of the sign to the pitcher, or actually the target to the pitcher. And so we have that there, and it's actually been working really well. So in taking it off, a lot of you can probably understand that taking off biking gloves is a pretty difficult thing. So we added these patented pull tabs here to help kind of pull these things off. So it really helps a lot to take these off instead of struggling to take them off. So made out of Pitter's leather, a high quality leather that a lot of the Nikes and Franklins of the world use. So high quality materials.
By the way, the name is pretty clever. ForceOut, of course, is a baseball term,
Yeah.
and it also connotes taking the force out of a ball that's slapping your hand. So,
Yeah, I came up with a couple different names, and you probably don't want to hear them, but yeah, we finally ended up with the. It's a play on words.
Yeah.
We think it's a good name for it. It does.
What did you have to trademark that name?
Yeah,
or
we did.
something? Okay.
We trademarked that name, and we have a patent pending on this design as well. So we're
You're
trying to do
protected
this
both
right.
ways.
We're trying to do it the right way, and having never come out with a product, we're trying to do it the right way.
Yeah. How did you go about finding a manufacturer? You did ultimately decide to have these manufactured in China. How in the world do you go about that process?
We actually had them in Pakistan.
Oh, Pakistan.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, we had them. But that process again, I mean, every stage of this whole thing. I mean, it's a simple glove to a lot of people. I would say, well, I'll just chop off the fingers of my batting glove and glue some gel pads here. But it takes a lot of work to put them in the exact spot, and to find a manufacturer that actually does this type of work was really difficult. But we started talking with different people. We started talking with batting glove manufacturers, and actually there's a glove, not a manufacturer, but a guy who makes gloves here in Wisconsin that helped us out, kind of use his manufacturer. So it was kind of talking to a bunch of different people and trying different countries. We've tried different countries. It didn't work out for whatever reason, for a lot of different reasons. So we ended up with a manufacturer in Pakistan who actually does exclusively batting gloves from a lot of large companies.
The last time I did a story on this, which was when you came up with the product, we did get a few comments, I have to tell you, on our website saying, why couldn't they manufacture that in the U.S.? So why couldn't you?
Believe me, I tried to. We've called all different places throughout the country, and it just, for them, a lot of them basically turned us away. Because it just was, I don't know if it was margins that they couldn't hit on this stuff, but the manufacturing cost for this type of product, again, probably not unlike a lot of products, it was just way too expensive for us to even do anything with. So although we wanted to stay here in the United States, we really wanted to stay here, and we wanted to keep a lot of the work here, we had to go. It was just a matter of having to go across.
Ultimately, you put a $30 price tag on it, and I know one of the reasons you wanted to keep it affordable is this is not just going to be for major leaguers, so talk about where you see the market being.
Well, I think from doing the research on other batting glove companies, and a bulk of our demographic is going to be from 9-year-olds through college. And so even though major leaguers are wearing them and loving them, that's not going to be our market at all. It's going to be in that 9-year-olds to college age players, and that's where we see the biggest draw for this product here.
And of course, it's available in all different sizes as well as women's sizes too.
Right, women's, youths, men's sizes. Softball players, baseball players can benefit from this glove, and it's just it's a glove that's going to fit a lot of different players.
Yeah. Now, talk about how Jason's wearing one right now, and talk about how you're trying to get it to spread within Major League Baseball to get it started.
Well, we're fortunate enough to have Jason kind of be our guinea pig, and he's a Major League Baseball
A willing guinea pig.
Exactly. And so I was just down in Florida last week and trying to get a feel for what the players are thinking about it and what we're seeing and hearing. And they love it. They love it. You know, it's really a simple glove. People's like, well, why didn't I think of that? You know, I do that all the time when I see products on TV.
Right.
But this one's mine this time. Jason was the perfect guinea pig for us because he's down there, he's in the mix, he's able to hand it to players, and because he's a major leaguer, he has credibility with his players. And so when he hands it over to a Jason Castro, who's the starting catcher for Houston, and says, hey, try this out, you know, they're willing to try it, probably, you know, with a little bit of a head nod on the side, but they love it. Jason Castro, you know, I don't want to quote him, but he has to wear it now, you know, so which is good because we know that it's working. We know that it's, you know, unofficially major league approved by these players. You know, I say big league approved, but they love it. Jason can't play without it. Some of the infielders are starting to wear them. It's starting to catch on. So slowly we're trying to spread the word by getting major league guys to sort of endorse and say, hey, this thing really does work, and it's really protecting my hand and hopefully prolonging their career.
And you're using social marketing to a great extent, besides having him.
We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter. We've got these players that are in exchange for us giving them some gloves. Essentially, they're saying, hey, you know, we like the product enough to endorse it on our Twitter account or Facebook or whatever. So we really want that feedback, and so far we've gotten some really good feedback.
So what response are you getting since you're on social media from any other places outside the U.S.?
It's funny, when you look on Google Analytics for our website, you know, you see places all over the world, you know, Japan, Australia, Ukraine, Romania, it's all these different countries. So even though we've only been launched for not even a month yet now, it's sort of, you see kind of who's looking at this, you know, a bulk of the people that are looking at it are United States, but we're hoping that as more people learn about this glove, that it'll start to snowball a little bit more all over the world.
And you happen to be wearing a T-shirt. What's the idea? You guys you took a step beyond this to the T-shirt.
Well, we have a T-shirt. It's, I think, the world's greatest T-shirt ever.
You're not biased though.
No, not at all. It's a good blend. It's an American Apparel style T-shirt. It's a 50-25-25 polyester cotton and spandex. So it's a really good shirt. And it's funny because I gave it to a lot of the big league guys.
Oh.
From the Brewers and,
Oh.
and the Phillies and the Astros, and they love it. They love it.
Oh, yeah?
And so when I went down there,
So they're all wearing the shirt.
they're
People are
wearing the
seeing
shirt.
it.
They're seeing it. And so
Oh.
the idea is to say, hey, what is that? Because when I was out there, a couple of the players were like, God, I see that shirt everywhere. And they started talking. Oh, you're Jason's brother. Okay,
Uh-huh.
I explained. I'm seeing it everywhere. Can I get a T-shirt? They all want a T-shirt. So, I mean, believe it or not, I'm a big T-shirt guy. It's got to fit right. So we spent a little bit more money on this T-shirt to make sure that people are going to actually wear it.
Oh, yeah.
You get T-shirts all the time from giveaways.
Mhm.
You use it as a rag
Right.
to wax your car, but
Yeah.
uh,
I painted mine.
there you go. I do a lot of things in mine, and the ones that I don't like, but they're wearing them, and it's taken up, and we're hoping that people see it and start to recognize, start to ask questions about it.
Yeah. Well, Lee Jaramillo, thanks for being on Money Talks. Good luck with the products. Obviously off to a great start. You've been watching Money Talks, the Journal Times online business show. I'm business reporter Michael Burke. Thanks to our producer Scott Anderson today, and please remember, Money Talks.